Hello Guardians, it is Ebontis here, and in this video, we're going to talk about exotic armor. Some of it is actually getting some changes, some a little balancing, some are getting some reworks, which is nice to see. Biggest thing that kind of wraps up about 5 different exotics. Shards of Galanor, which is for hunters. You've got Ursa Furiosa for titans, Skull of Dire Ahamkara for warlocks, Phoenix Protocol for warlocks, and Stormdancer's Embrace for warlocks. So warlock there in the end. Basically any of the exotics that kind of hadn't been tweaked already that give you super energy for kills during your super. Or for example, for the Titan, you've got the Ursa Furiosa, which I gotta find right here. Block damage with the Sentinel Shield for more super energy. Basically any of those that have previously given you a lot or a little, they're all kind of being balanced out. The ones that hadn't been touched before to 50% of your super energy returned. Now, that's still not a bad thing. If I block a lot of damage in a difficult activity with my group, and when I'm done, I get 50% of my super back, that's not a bad thing. You got another person with you, maybe sharing some orbs, things like that, you're still going to be able to get your super quickly. But I know Ursa Furiosa, for example, was almost all of your super if you blocked enough to. It wasn't full like you used to be able to get full, but it was still a lot. They're bringing all of these things down to about 50%. So anything that kind of returns super energy is now going to be capped at 50% based on the amount of damage or based on the amount of kills. They all pretty much seem to be leveling out to be right around there. One other main change is going to be the Geomag stabilizers, which I think for a lot of people is probably going to be a good thing, I've heard. When Chaos Reach super energy is almost full, sprinting tops it off. That is going away. Damaging enemies with Chaos Reach extends its duration. That's going to stay the same. So the longer you hold the beam on the target, that will still be there. Still going to give you a good chunk of damage. And I think this is the one you can still actually you can basically terminate it early, I think, by pressing the super button again and still conserve some of that energy if you want to kill like a smaller target, for example. But the sprinting to top it off, I think it was getting abused in PvP, or at least seemed to be a very popular thing I heard about. So that is getting fixed and basically removed. That's kind of the main pieces with regards to kind of general leveling of all the super related exotics, getting super energy back. They're all pretty much capping at 50%. And then Geomags, the sprinting to top off, is going away. So, as certain things change in the exotics, there are certain things that are going to be coming up. The Titans probably have the smallest number of changes, so we will start there. Icefall Mantle. Basically, Icefall Mantle replaces your barricade, your giant wall, ability with a personal overshield. It's not a bad thing. When you activate the barricade, you create a burst around you that slows combatants, so kind of just a slowing burst. Also, while you have the overshield, you are slowed, and the barricade does not recharge. I don't exactly remember how long it lasts, but one thing is going to change. They removed the slower class ability recharge scaler. So the barricade not recharging, it will, as soon as you cast it, it will start recharging again. Everything else is pretty much going to stay the same. You will still be slowed. You still get the burst around you. It's still going to replace your barricade. It's just going to actually start recharging the ability while you're walking around. You still walk very slowly, but you are walking around with an overshield. So that's pretty much all that's changing there. Precious Scars is actually one that you might consider, because for me, I've never used this thing pretty much ever. Mostly it seems like a PvP exotic. Why? After reviving or being revived, typically something that happens more frequently in, like, competitive PvP, not something as frequently that's probably going to be life-saving when it comes to PvE. Yeah, you might get rezzed in GM or something here, but it's not something you really want to build, set up a build around, basically. Basically, after reviving or being revived, you gain an aura that provides overshields to you and nearby allies. So you're going to have an overshield after being revived. You're in a crappy situation. You got an overshield. It's not a bad thing. Now, going forward, it actually is going to have an additional perk. It will also create a burst of healing and bonus recovery around you when you kill an enemy with a weapon whose damage type matches your subclass. So it doesn't matter if you're Arc, Solar Void, or Stasis. If you get a kill with that damage type, which we're going to need more stasis weapons, that have to be a thing. But if you get a solar weapon kill, while wearing this, you're going to get a burst of healing and bonus recovery, which means the healing might give you a little chunk of energy, but then your recovery, if you take damage later on, or depending on how long it stays on you, if you take a little damage later, that health recovery may still come back higher as well. So it's going to take a kill, I should say, with a weapon whose damage type matches your subclass. So solar subclass, you need to get a solar weapon kill. then you're going to get that burst of healing. So now you're not having to wait for someone to die, which is usually why I don't enjoy some of these exotics. Waiting on, your exotic to give you any benefit, like having to wait for someone to die to do that, is never really a good thing. So you're going to be a little more survivable now if you have to revive someone or are revived. You're going to help your team with that overshield. But now you can also help if you match your subclass to your weapons. Then you're going to be also helping those little bursts of healing and recovery to your team as well, as long as you're getting those like matching subclass kills. So I don't know if this is going to like make this like top of the meta, but for more of a survival exotic, especially depending on if your subclass can match one of your weapons, especially like your energy weapon that you might use a lot, you actually might be able to be a bit more tanky, a bit more survivable, potentially in both PvP and PvE. I think this one will be interesting overall. We're going to take Hunters next. Now, I haven't played my Hunter as much in a while, but I still kind of understand how all these work. Graviton forfeit. Right now, you've got increase the duration of any invisibility effects. Your melee recharges faster while you're invisible. Pretty straightforward. Well, the change is going to be, it's going to increase the bonus invisibility duration, so it's going to be even longer than it already is. The melee regeneration speed now increases based on the number of enemies near you. So it isn't just going to be invisible, get more melee back. It's going to be invisible. If you're close to more enemies, then you're going to be getting more of that melee energy back. Also, it says while you are invisible, your recovery is greatly increased, which means your shield regeneration should start much sooner and go quicker, and your weapons reload more quickly. So if you like playing, basically Void Hunter, and you like going invisible, which many do, getting that free reload, better recovery, longer invisibility, the melee regeneration, when enemies are near you, is probably not the end of the world. Some people really like the smoke grenade. We'll have to see how that one plays out. But overall, could be good. I don't know if the melee regeneration with enemies around you is going to be an important piece, because I know some people like throw an invisibility grenade, go sprinting past enemies in a Grandmaster Nightfall, throw another one because they already got recharged because they've got two. There's different ways. We'll have to see if this plays to be good or bad. I would say in PvP, it sounds like it's going to be stronger. In PvE, it may be a smidge weaker, depending on what the melee recharge / smoke bomb timing is going to be like. Overall, I think it'll probably be okay. That one's probably going to take some testing, though, so we'll have to see what happens there. Next one is going to be the Lucky Pants. Now, currently, precision hits load 1 round to the chamber of stowed hand cannons with a separate weapon. So hand cannons ready faster and are more accurate immediately after swapping to them. So if you have something else, a sniper rifle, pulse rifle, scout rifle, precision hits, load 1 round to the chamber of stowed hand cannons, because basically the precision hits are reloading. You can even do it with an auto rifle. You're going to be reloading your weapon. I don't think you overload, but you will basically reload it. When you switch over, after you've hit enough precision hits, maybe you got it full, you'll ready it faster and you'll be more accurate immediately after swapping to them. So if you get, a couple shots, switch it over to hand cannon for a follow-up kill, something along those lines. It actually seems like it's going to be a bit more usable. The changes here are going to tie into a new mod. So I'll kind of explain 2 things as we go through. They said they added intrinsic hand cannon holster mod, basically replacing the previous functionality, which is mentioned here. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage or matching your subclass energy type, for a short time, each hit against a combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. And then finally, what is a hand cannon holster mod? They cover that a little bit below. Basically, hand cannon holster mods are going to be mods that kind of work for auto reload. When you're not using them, they get reloaded over time, kind of thing. So some of that stuff is going to change for what's not there, but basically they said the hand cannon holster mod is going to be intrinsic. When you ready a fully loaded hand cannon that deals kinetic damage, so not an energy hand cannon, or damage matching your subclass type, that is when you can use the energy hand cannon, but it can't be solar subclass and void hand cannon. It's got to be solar and solar. For a short time, each hit against the combatant from that hand cannon increases the damage of the next shot. Now, I don't know how long this is going to last. If it's, say, 10 seconds, for example, and that damage ticks up a little bit, you potentially can have a very powerful hand cannon on your hand. Especially take anything like a 120. 140s are very popular. If you're running a void subclass and say you're running palindrome for a hand cannon, those shots at first are probably going to be pretty standard, but then all of a sudden those hand cannon shots start to do more and more damage. Theoretically, depending on how much it stacks and how long it lasts, you could kill one person, get a couple shots, and if the damage stacks high enough, your next one may be, instead of a 3-tap, it might be a 2-tap in PvP. Same thing in PvE. Not sure how long it will last or how much the damage stacks, because it does have to be a fully loaded hand cannon. And again, theoretically, maybe you have 2 hand cannons. So I'm not sure how this one's going to play out. I think this one will be one to watch for probably a very high skilled person in PvP is going to be able to have some fun with this one. I don't know if it's going to be a game changer in the PvE world, mostly because I'm sure they will limit it so you don't break the game, because they mentioned no, Hawkmoon won't be able to one-shot a raid boss using these legs. But they said other hand cannons will get a fun edge in combat. So if you like hand cannons and you're a hunter, definitely experiment with these, pull them back out of the vault, see how much damage you get, we'll see how they go. The fun ones are going to be the bombardiers. Now, currently what it does, dodging leaves behind an explosive that detonates after a short delay, damaging enemies around it. If you guys would go check out Cool Guy's video, he's actually got a video all over these. He raved about them before, like a long time ago when they came out. But he, I think, recently did one breaking this one down as well. So he does it really well. Check him out too. But basically now the bomb is going to have a secondary effect. If you're running an arc subclass, it's going to blind. If you're running solar, it's going to cause burning. If you're in stasis, it's going to slow you. And then if you're running void, it will suppress. Same way like a suppression grenade would. It said it will not pull a guardian out of their super though. So you can't suppress a guardian out of your super with these boots specifically. Suppression grenade theoretically still will, but the boots themselves will not pull a guardian out of the super. So their functionality is, I mean, hunters dodge all the time anyway, so it's not a bad thing to be able to have more functionality out of your dodge. And now, depending on what your subclass is, if you're running arc and you can blind somebody, you've kind of immobilized them. The solar burning, if you can, you know, dodge and run away, if you maybe got a punch and you dodge and that explosion hurts them, if they don't die already, the burn might kill them. And then stasis, they're slowed. So there's a lot of immobilization, a lot of crowd control in here. Should be interesting to see if these actually get a little bit more love, because for me, the whole dodge, drop a bomb, kind of fun in theory, kind of martyrdom from Call of Duty, but overall didn't scream that, like, hey, you should be using these. I don't play hunters much, so I know dodging is obviously a big thing because I played against them enough. But overall, it's nice to see this one getting a little extra because I feel like it needed more to really be functional. I think now this one actually could be kind of fun. That pretty much covers hunters, so now we're going to come down to warlocks. We already talked about Geomag stabilizers. Obviously, the sprinting topping off is going away. Got some other changes, though, on a couple other exotics. We've got Verity's Brow. So currently, the way this one works is energy weapon kills grant death throws, which provides a bonus to damage of your grenades and grants you grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies gain greatly increased grenade energy recharge regeneration rate, or basically, yeah, for a short time. So now it says change to trigger when you get a weapon kill that matches your subclass type. I'm thinking you guys are catching a trend. They're trying to have the subclasses play into kills and triggering mechanics and things like that to make your subclass a bit more important to your playstyle. Now it says energy weapon kills grant death throws. So now it's going to be when you get a weapon kill that matches your subclass, it seems like this is the stuff that's going to go into effect. They did say it also increased the grenade damage bonus to 20% per stack, up from 10%. So it may be a little harder to trigger because you have to match the subclass to your weapon energy type. So again, these are all pairing into your energy weapon slot specifically, or I guess also possibly heavy weapon could still do the same thing because those are typically all energy. Kinetic's not going to be playing too much in this is basically what I'm saying, but it takes the grenade damage stack even higher. So if you get 3 or 4 energy weapon kills and you're running a solar weapon and a solar subclass, provides you a bonus to damage grenade damage energy. Depending on how high it stacks, that grenade is going to be pretty painful in both PvE and PvP. So if you have a good grenade build, you're running solar, kind of everything, that's your build, and you want your grenades to do more, here you go. This is actually a pretty cool way to do it. More damage, just very specifically tied to the kill, the weapon kill that matches your subclass type now. So slightly different change. Still be cool. Bonus and grenade damage. I don't know if it's going to break anything, but it gives a little more beefiness to the grenade for sure. Next one we've got is the Stag. This is one of those, another ones that I don't really enjoy because you have to wait typically for death. It grants rift energy when you are critically wounded. That's not a bad thing, probably overlooked, but generally one of those things that's very subtle because the rift energy can be beneficial for, you know, empowering rifts or specifically healing rifts generally. If you're critically wounded, getting that energy back is probably a good way to stay alive. But that's pretty minor. On your death creates a healing rift on your corpse. It means you're going to be easier to res, but seriously, anything that says on your own death is not really a perk that's going to do me a whole lot. Now, the change is that it's actually going to say it grants damage reduction to all allied guardians standing in your rifts. 25% against combatants, so that's PvE, and 15% against players, so PvP. But 25 or respectively 15% damage reduction while standing in a rift, which you're now also going to get more frequently because you're using this thing, and if you get critically wounded, which happens to us all the time, you're going to be getting your rift up more often. I mean, damage reduction in especially tough activities, like you picture a Grandmaster, and now your healing rift actually makes you a bit tankier. That's quite impressive. Also picture, I mean, this is also, I think, going to make certain rifts extremely almost broken. If you think of like an empowering rift, and people are using like shotguns for Templar, for example, you're going to be even harder to kill in there. Somebody drops a well, somebody drops a rift, depending on what stacks. We'll just have to see. Overall, I'm just glad this is getting something else that happens when you're not dead. So never a bad thing. And the fact that it is actually damage mitigation and you're getting your rift back more frequently, it may be something to consider for survivability if you like playing in rifts, if you like playing around corners in PvP, got some spicy stuff going on in PvE, this one could be good. We'll see. Last one is Prometheum Spur. Gotta go find it over here because it's boots. There we go. Prometheum Spur is one of those that most of us have probably forgotten about. While Daybreak is active, defeating combatants or guardians creates a healing and empowering rift at their location. I always thought this was weird because if I kill an enemy halfway across the room and it makes a rift over there, what benefit does that do me at all? It always seemed very strange. So now they're going to say it has additional functionality. While standing in a rift, whether doesn't matter what type, solar weapon kills give you class ability energy. So if you dropped a healing rift on your feet, and you're getting solar weapon kills, which is going to pair with Daybreak, you're going to get your class ability energy back. So get those solar kills, not bad. When your class ability energy is full, solar weapon kills consume that energy and spawn a combination healing empowering rift at the target's location. So now you've got defeating combatants or guardians creates a healing empowering rift at their location. That's there, but now when your class ability energy is full, it's going to do that even more frequently with solar weapon kills. So all this stuff is on top, but solar weapons are basically going to be the thing that makes this work. You're going to get more rift energy up, and then when these people start dying, it's going to help with kills. It's still weird to create a rift partway across a room, but if you're in kind of a really tough Grandmaster, you kill an enemy and it makes a rift over there, maybe you don't have your rift energy up, maybe you need 2 people on one spot, maybe you can kill where somebody's being rezzed. There's some options where it could be beneficial. I still don't think this is going to make it like the most epic exotic in the world. But overall, it's good to see some of these exotics that for me, I've just like never even gave it a second thought. Now, maybe it could at least have a bit more functionality if you're dependent on rifts. But that is most of the changes to exotics. I know that was a little lengthy, but I wanted to cover the changes for you guys that are coming and the ones to look forward to for next season. Obviously, we know there are generally going to be good exotics all around. Sight and ramparts is still impressive to be able to shoot through your towering barricade in PvP. Acting War Rig, reloading your machine gun, there's stuff that always works. But some of the stuff you don't ever think about that needs some changes, needs a little love, needs a bit more to kind of stay up with the times. It's nice to see they're giving these a bit of a rework. Not everything, but they are working through more and more as they go. And as I said, we are also rolling out some changes to... Oh, nope. Keep your eyes open for other changes to come in the wake of these as well. Our goal for the next few seasons, especially following the launch of Witch Queen. Witch Queen's going to have enough stuff that happens in it, but it's usually like seasons after when they start doing other stuff, is to increase the variety of fun and powerful choices available to players in PvE and PvP alike. So they're looking to hopefully mix these things up, see how the changes go, if it's enough, if it's too much, and kind of keep the balancing going. It would be nice to really have some fun choices when it comes to exotics, more than just like, you know, your 5 or 6 standard ones that you go to for your subclass. So if you guys did enjoy the video, please drop a like below. If you have a thought about any of the exotics that are, you know, that you like using, any changes that, you know, that they mentioned that I didn't highlight enough of, please mention those down in the comments. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, obviously there's a lot of Destiny coming from this channel, and there will be even more coming up next week on the 24th, so don't miss my stream for whatever is going to happen with that showcase. It's going to be big. You guys can follow me here, hit that subscribe button, hit the alert bell. You guys can also hit that join button if you want to support the channel as a member. You guys can find me on Twitter at Ebontis, and then find me over on twitch.tv/Ebontis as well. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you soon.